Oh my goodness. Seriously, I have to just do it. It's like I can tell myself I don't have to think about things that don't matter.
I was designed to do those things. How the hell does this guy know this about me?
It's impossible to not see.
When Dan read for my sister, she was like, he's psychic. She's like, how does he know that?
Yes.
She's like, it's human design, guys. Like, it's just a testimony of how legit it is.
Seriously, Danny was like FBI or CIA. He's like, how the hell does this guy know this about me?
Having my chart read, there were just thing after thing after thing that I was just like, wow, that's me.
This man is reading me and I've never met him before.
I was in the midst of one of the biggest emotional waves I've ever been in my life, and he saved my life.
It seems like everybody has the same reaction. It's that aha moment, and they want to find out more.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. Oh, we got
Tressa.
another. Hey, guys.
Someone have a phone on?
Yes, it sounds like a phone. Okay, hold on. Welcome back to another episode of the Human Design Advantage podcast. My name is Jen, and decoding the matrix for us is Danny Guru.
Jen, how are you?
I'm fantastic. And today we also have Tressa on with us. Thank you, Tressa. How are you doing today?
Tressa,
I
it's
didn't
good to
see
see you.
last night. What was that, Danny?
It's good to see you. I'm really excited for today.
Oh, you guys
Great.
too. Yeah. Danny and Jen know I have a 3-year-old generator who has a lot of energy, and some nights we don't sleep very well. So I'm here, but I'm
A
tired.
common story. We're going to write some children's books on top of all of this.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah.
Before we dive in, today's topic, I want to do the date real quick. I'm trying to get on the habit because we have some listeners actually, so I want to date these podcasts. It is August 7th, 2022, and we are doing live feedback readings from the sessions that you had this week, Dan.
Yep. In fact, we are. And these are actually Tressa's and mine sessions. So there's feedback is coming in from sort of both angles. So this is good. HDA grows, and that's what we're after. It's exciting.
Yes. Awesome. So do you want to give us an intro to the first guest?
Yeah. So Pierre is coming on. I read for him a little over a week ago. Hey, Pierre. And basically I just asked to re-listen to the recording a little bit and to sort of dive in from there. Tressa, I just realized I forgot the questions. They're sitting on my phone. Which is
I actually have them popped up.
That's
yeah, and
cool.
we're going to wing it too. Pierre, it's nice to meet you. I've never actually met you before.
No, we've exchanged on Instagram a little bit, but no, we've never talked. So it's nice to meet you as well.
Yes, it's nice to meet you. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm glad that this all worked out between everybody.
Yes.
Yep. So Pierre, did you ever do a hypnotherapy session with Tressa?
No, actually, I did hypnotherapy, but not with Teresa. But it's on my to-do list as we'll get through the chart. I'm a manager. I do many things, so it's on the to-do list at some point to do.
So, here's a manifesting generator who lives in the now an awful lot. Jen, I don't know how difficult it would be to like pop up a quick glance at the chart and then close it back up to the four of us, and then we'll ask a few questions. Mm-hmm. Is that a big ask? There's Pierre. I just did a nice simple view. Look at all that ego action. Pierre's got stuff to say. So go ahead and put us back main screen. And did you see enough, Tressa? Sorry about that.
I think that you emailed it to me, so I'm just going to pull it up.
I totally did. Pierre, how was it? What we're always after, what I'm always after, and Jennifer always has a great way of asking this is, how did it feel? What's it like? You went from not having been read to, in a moment later, you and I were on the phone for almost 2 hours, and we went in deep to all the things. We always go in deep. And so what's that feel like?
Oh, it's just it's that domino effect, because I'm 37 years old, but I've been introduced to human design maybe a couple of months ago, like I told you, but never really dove into it that deep. And as we're talking, there's pattern in your life that memories come back that you're like, yeah, I did this and it's because of that. And then, especially the one you shared, the fear chart, basically in the 3 awareness center. I was like, yeah, one of this one is like so big for me. And basically the reading is really understanding a lot of your design, right? Your mechanics and how it, even without knowing that it unfolds in your life without you knowing. And, you know, our reading started that you really introduced me. You said that something like the 10th first episode, you basically explaining how it was all channeled and all this information, but you resumed that in like 10 minutes with me, and it made so much sense. And then we get into the personal details and how we all are perfect in our design. It's not that, you know, I have only 3 open center, but I have seen charts where there's only 1 defined and stuff like that. But all our designs are perfect for who we are, and it's through exchanges that makes us grow consciousness, right? And reading and understanding a little bit more, because there's information out there, but really you know it so well on the tip of your finger that, to me, it really, you know, you read the information, there's so many sites, UMDES, the Jovian archive actually, and stuff like that. But once you get someone to really explain it to you and give you the details at your feedback right away, it light up so many light bulbs. It's like light bright all over again.
Oh, that's just amazing.
That was a beautiful response. Very beautiful.
Yeah. I have a question. Do you mind if I ask a question?
Please.
Was there anything in your chart that you kind of gave you permission to be you? Like something about you that you thought was maybe not a good thing, or maybe you weren't allowed to be. But then, Danny, you know, it's like, this is in your chart and this is who you are, and maybe permission slip to be this way because there's actually nothing wrong with that. You know,
we had a lengthy discussion just on the topic of open center, and I have an open crown. And I tried a lot of my life to resolve everyone's problem and just overthinking, you know, until the wheel falls off, basically, everyone's problem. And then at some point when I step away and just say, you know, okay, this is okay to have these thoughts, but you don't have to put more, you know, don't feed the fire basically anymore. You just let them process. And it was basically lifting a weight off my shoulder. It was like, yeah, this is fine that you may receive all that information from everyone and trying to do all these things. But once you give yourself the grace to just say, it's okay not to act on it, basically, even if it's your close circle, you know, you just spoke about your little boy and stuff like that. I mean, you know, even our closest circle, it's okay to not be trying to resolve everyone's problems. So to me, that, especially that part of the conversation regarding the open crown, was really eye-opening for me.
Wow.
Thinking about things that don't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't matter to you right now. That was the quality. Yep.
Yeah.
Jen, did you have something?
No, I was laughing about the, you know, I have a defined head center, but I am somebody that constantly overthinks about things, so I can totally relate on that. So I did one question that did come up about this. What throughout the whole reading, what impacted you the most with the session with Danny?
Just the sheer knowledge. I mean, Danny, it's amazing. And I didn't know much about the empowerment and self-empowerment and tribal, you know, graphic, call it, sorry, I'm missing one right now, circuitry, sorry, and how it fits it all together. But now it makes so much sense. And now once you see your own channels and are they conscious or unconscious, and now again, it relates back to, you look at your own self in your history and how you react in a certain situation. But only that, it's that even so during understanding those channels, like I have the 1020, which is the channel of awakening, conscious, I read about it and I thought, you know, oh, this channel is a lot about self-love. And I was like, yeah, this is a little bit challenging. You know, I had a quote unquote rough childhood. So, you know, it can be a challenge to really admit that I struggle sometimes with self-love. But Danny really explained it to me that, no, this is when you are in the now, you're, you know, not in the not self. Basically, when you're in the now, you always make the best decision regarding your own self-love. But so that understanding, because again, reading all the information, there's so many out there, but once it's really explained by someone knowledgeable, it made a whole difference. So now I understand like particularly this channel as to why it is so beneficial for me, for example. So it really was a takeaway that in this moment, and now I can go forward in life with the confidence that, when I have to make those choices, it will always be in my own best interest, in the sense, not in the selfish way, but, I will act out of self-love, basically.
Exactly. And
opening.
I notice as people act more and more out of their own self-love, what they end up doing is allowing themselves into the stream of communion with the other. And just by default, we become supportive and loving and easier on the other, and all of humanity works right when we do it. That channel 1020 is hard to describe at first, because the channel of awakening seems so regal and so important, but it's really very mundane into the right now. So now that every time you're under pressure, thinking about too much stuff, and under pressure to move, and under pressure to feel certain things, as soon as that happens, you're outside of your now. And your body screams at you and says, hey, come back to now. Where you belong. You're right here.
Exactly. And another thing, if you don't mind, that I just want to share is that Teresa mentioned a generator boy, and I'm a Mani-Gen. Obviously, we share a lot of traits with the generator. And Danny, you mentioned in the reading that, we have a lot of energy as well, but it's through our sacral authority. And I've struggled a lot with my sleep, actually. And it's something that, again, I'm going to re-listen in the recording, that I have to learn more and more how to, use up all that energy, basically, because, I do struggle to go to sleep, basically, but it's because I'm not using the ha-ha sound from my body all day, every day. The 5-year-old you mentioned that, that says that, hey, want to go get ice cream? And stuff like that. Use it all day. So then I make sure that when I hit the sack, that I'm out like a sleeping doll, basically.
Right. That's exactly. Go ahead.
And let's unpack that a little bit too, because when we're talking about sleep, it's really just movement, energy. Like when you can't sleep, like I've seen posts on your Instagram, like go lift weights, Pierre, go do some push-ups, go do some pull-ups, like exert your physical energy until you're tired enough that you could. Me and Danny's cracks me up, because Danny's like, oh, your boy won't go to sleep, put some ankle weights on him. Go have him run around the block. Give him a jug of milk and have him work. They're joking, of course. It's hilarious.
Trust, I remember we were joking about ways to exhaust generator children. It's like, let's put them in a sled team and harnesses on them, and they got to take us around the neighborhood until they finally conk out. We'll watch social services show up and say we're abusing the children while they're very happy, sleeping well. Come on.
He's a generator.
As more people understand what human design is, they won't see it as bad, basically. Even in kindergarten, if they could distribute the groups according to their design, I mean, how amazing would it be, right?
Yes, that's the but this whole idea of homogenizing everybody to sleep the same, it's crazy. It's crazy. Not everybody needs 8 hours of sleep. Not everybody needs to go to sleep at the same time. And so really understanding, and I'm actually really happy that you brought up your sacral sounds, because that was going to be my next question. How are you when it comes to following your strategy and authority? Are you able to connect with what that means in your own life?
More and more, I would say it's still a lesson in at this time, but just living in the now and understanding that, going with the flow, and more it's like, hey, now do you want to go do this and do that, instead of adhering to a very strict schedule with I used to do in the past. And obviously, by the weekend I was like unbearable, and I needed to do more freestyle type of living, basically, because I was going against my design and not listening to my body at all. I mean, I would listen to, you mentioned exercise and gym and stuff like that. That part I have under control, but understanding this energy was completely different. So it is a learning curve right now, but it brings so much more happiness in my life, understanding this instead of forcing working against the self, basically. It really is eye-opening And of course, there's, societal, cultural, childhood conditioning that we have to, deconstruct and decondition. I think you mentioned a lot of time, but it's only been a couple of months. But just bringing the awareness is already shining the lights on it. So it's already great for that purpose.
Pierre, this was an amazing testimony. I mean, that's just what we're after. We need human beings to see other human beings say human stuff. I don't know how else to put that.
In the now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have one question before we wrap up. You mentioned the deconditioning process. What are your plans on doing that? Like getting support or?
Yeah, well, I cheated earlier by saying that Teresa's on my to-do list, but again, I have a second session that I need to plan with Danny to get a little bit more understanding. So, there's a lot on it. To me, I'm still in the learning phase of just my own chart, basically. And even though I read for funds, others, and, understanding, I know we didn't discuss really, but, environment and stuff, the superpower, so for example, mine is the touch and stuff like that. So, we didn't dove into that, but I'm still understanding more and more mine before I can go more into, the deconditioning and then understanding more the others around me. So you mentioned, I believe, Jennifer, that you were a manifester. Like for me, it's still foreign in a sense as to what a manifester completely is. I understand that you initiate, but I don't think you you'll start the fire, but may not maintain it. Basically, that's how I see it at this time. But it's really, where I'm going towards is really understanding myself before. And, the circuitry was already a big light bulb moment again. The fear chart was a big one again. And understanding those, the fear one is basically, a lot of things as to where we need to shine light and bring awareness to that will go towards the deconditioning. So the understanding is the first step. And then obviously you mentioned, hypnotherapy works for that purpose. I'm going to see if there's other avenues, but I cannot go blindly at it, basically.
Got you. No,
Right.
that all makes sense. Yep.
And just so you know, Pierre, me and Danny and Jen are in the process of putting together a support group for people who are stepping into human design. And this is going to entail group coaching and also one-on-one coaching with Danny, with me, with Jen, with whoever, so that you can continue to live and learn about yourself and understand how to use this on the mundane plane and how to be the most authentic version of you. So we'll keep you posted when we have all of that put together.
Oh, sure. I'm following all your accounts. So, I'm going to see on either of your account. I'll see it somewhere.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. I'm following you too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your testimony. I loved hearing it.
My pleasure. Thank you again, Danny. Thank you, Teresa, for setting this up. It was nice to meet you, Jen, and, keep doing the great work. I love this stuff.
Freaking Pierre, You're a gentleman, dude. I have to take some lessons from you in etiquette. It's that Canadian gentlemanness, dang it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're known for that, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir. And some other things, too, I'm real proud of. Proud of. Yes, sir. All right. Rock on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Take it easy, brother.
Next, we have on Natasha. I believe she didn't have her camera on just yet, so I'll wait to see when she pops on. Here she is. Hold on.
Hello. You're in trouble, Danny. Look at this.
Hi, Natasha.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Natasha, it is such a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys. I'm actually having a little trouble hearing, so I was going to try it from my laptop.
Okay.
Because it sounds really low.
That works for us.
Yes.
Yep.
I was just teasing you, Danny, because you're surrounded by manifester women.
I just noticed that. In this very moment, I'm boxed in over here.
Are you repelled? Are you repelled in the corner?
Not at all. I'm drawn into the fire.
Danny loves it.
Yeah.
We got 3 manifestors on?
Yes, we do.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Natasha.
Hi.
So
Hi.
Natasha, what we do for a quick second, Jen, are you able to pull up her chart for just a second? And
I can.
yeah, we'll just take a quick look at that. Some things should look quite familiar to you, Jennifer. This is Natasha, and she's an emotional manifestor, a 1-3 profile, and she's on the cross of Eden. Yep. So the investigator is always here, and as well as the person who will tear it down if the foundation doesn't work. So maybe let's go back full screen and see how that's working out. Perfect. Did you see that for long enough? Did you need to leave it up longer, Dressa or Jen?
Oh no, and I have it on.
No, I've got it right here.
Okay. Coolio.
Okay, thank you.
Natasha is plugging in her computer.
Yes.
So while she's doing that, oh, cool, you're here already.
Oh, it won't let me join. Okay. All right. Sorry. We're just have to do it for my phone.
It's all good. You can hear us good enough. We'll just speak louder.
Okay.
Yeah. So everyone, we got to speak louder.
Okay. You should be able to hear me. I got the microphone right here.
Awesome. So Natasha, I guess I've been leading, so I'll lead with the same question I had for Pierre. Generally, your sense of it, this is sort of the first time you have it in depth and you have this reading, and we're on the phone for an hour and a half and we go through so much stuff. My question always is, what's it feel like to suddenly be taking in all of this brand new information? What's it feel like to have your design read? In that moment?
Honestly, it felt really good. It felt like I was understood. I'm always trying to look for answers and figure things out. So it was pretty enlightening, and it was welcome to hear things that I was like, this makes sense. Mm-hmm. And it was a positive feeling.
Nice. Did you do you remember that you walked away with some aha moments? Did any of that occur to you, right afterwards or during?
Yes, I did find myself the next day telling my husband that it wasn't my fault. And I was like, this is just how I am. He was
kind
of
freeing, isn't it? It's freeing, isn't it?
Jennifer's asking, it's freeing. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Jen or Tressa, did you guys have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Is that okay, Jen? I just talked over you.
No, go ahead.
I'm like bulldoze my way in, manifester. We're all manifestors. So Natasha, I'm wondering, are you aware of the impact that you have on people now that you know that you're a manifester? When you go somewhere, are you aware of your impact in the store, in public places? Do you recognize the impact that you make
with family?
I don't still. I think I recognize it more in the classroom. When we were doing the design read, I just understood stuff more, and just things started making sense. Me as a teacher role, but then I mean, if I think about it in other circumstances, I definitely can recognize it now.
Yeah.
The impact should feel like you're able to move obstacles sort of out of the way. And that seems odd to you at times because other people right next to you can't seem to do the same thing. In other words, other people around you sometimes appear slow. It's like, wait a second, just move through is what the manifestor says. And the rest of us are like, I'm not sure. We don't always know how to do that. Have you noticed that at all, that you can simply move through?
I'm usually the quiet one in the room, but then when I do have something to say, then people listen.
That's the impact.
Yeah, that's definitely the impact.
Yep. How about this emotional wave? So that would have been a thing I would have dealt with, because for you, that would be something that would start to trigger, your movement away from being at peace, and you're moving into feeling moments and various versions of anger. Have you seen this emotional wave go back and forth for yourself?
Definitely.
Jen, that's your cue.
Sorry, I was checking the sound.
No,
I did not hear your question. I was trying to see if I could help the sound on this end.
no, just about. So, what have you noticed about your emotional wave? That because this brings so much clarity to people over time.
I definitely noticed that, like, at the end of it, it wasn't as big as it seemed in the moment.
And in the
yes.
past,
It's that magnifying whatever it is that's coming up to the surface.
It's like amplified.
In the past, it seemed bigger. Is that what you're saying? And then since we read, you start to realize it's a chemistry, and it doesn't. It still sucks, but it doesn't seem as big. Is that what you're saying? I've got this wrong. Jen, help me out.
No, it always seems big in the moment.
Yeah.
It's not something that you're telling us is going to go away. I have not yet experienced. In the moment, it's magnified. So take something, it's kind of like overreacting, but you have to observe what's going on in the moment, because it's the question that I asked you prior to this. What is the emotional wave telling me? Because sometimes it's a repetitive emotional wave about something, but it's like, at the end of it, it wasn't as big of a deal as it was in the middle of it. And in the middle of it, it's the end of the world kind of thing. Is it like that for you?
I think it's a strong feeling. It's definitely a strong emotion. And then logically, you're kind of like, why am I so triggered by this? And when it passes and settles, you can analyze it differently and calmly. But I think it's also important to recognize, like, those waves. Like, it's telling you something, like, even if it's, in the grand scheme of things, something small.
Have you noticed the clarity after you start to go back up on your wave? After the down part of a wave, have you noticed there's always something new, sharper, clearer?
I would definitely say that that's like the logical part of it after the emotion passes.
Yep. Yeah. That's awesome.
But I think it's a Jen question and a Natasha question, because I don't have a defined emotional center, but I am acutely aware of my chemistry when it comes to anger, and that it is a chemical reaction, and that when my manifestor's anger is, it's almost like a glow stick inside of me that somebody snaps, and then I get that, like, oh, the manifestor anger is rising. And if I stop it before it gets to be too much, like, I have to remove myself. I have to go in the other room. I have to tell my husband and my kids, like, hey, I'm starting to feel really angry. I need to go and stop this before my volcano explodes completely, right? And so I'm curious as how does that, when you're in an emotional wave, can you feel the manifestor anger on top of the emotional wave? How does that feel for you guys? How does that work out?
That's a good question.
I will let you go, Natasha. I can actually answer this because I had an experience today on that.
I don't know. So it depends on, like, the situation. I think it's definitely empowering. You feel like really, I don't know. I think I've learned to not control it, but manage it pretty well, so I don't pop off usually. I don't think I'm also given the space to really, like, step out and remove myself from certain situations that trigger me.
Right. And on top of that, it's kind of like the difference, like, there's a very fine line between managing it and suppressing it.
Yeah.
Before I stepped into my design, I would suppress the crap out of my anger because I didn't recognize that I had to move it through. When my manifestor anger comes up, I'm like a little kid. Like, I go in the room, I stomp my feet, I slam my pillow. I, like, let myself express the anger, but I do it in a way that's kind of removed a little bit. And I do want to hear what you have to say, Jen. I'm sitting over here like, Jen has a story. Jen has a story. I want to hear that.
Jen, we want your story.
I have two. So on a manifestor anger, I realized that too. I suppressed it, and when I was younger, I had to do 2 years of anger management. That tells you how I was. So I got really good at learning how to suppress it, but it festered. So, good movie. There's a scene. I'll actually attach it to this. It's How to Make an American Quilt. One of the ladies in there, she finds out that her husband's cheating on her, and she goes, she's pissed. Well, in the movie, she starts chunking all this stuff in her room, like figurines, and then she plasters it on the wall. So I'm an artist, and I got an idea. Fantastic. I can create, like, collect pile of stuff that I want to break. And when I am in a manifestor rage or anger, I can break it and make something creative out of it, because that's what I do. So that's a tip that I got. I'm not suppressing it, and I haven't really broken anything. But today I did get to a point with something that, so there was an emotional wave that was triggered sometime around yesterday. I noticed it come in. I was in peace, and it came out of nowhere, and I'm observing the energy and not trying to attach it to it. So yesterday I was working on something, and I took a bunch of photos for my business, like a bunch. I had like 500 photos, and this morning they were gone. I couldn't find them on my computer. I don't know if I accidentally hit the delete button and then it went into the recycle bin. I had cleaned out my recycle bin. And you want to know that manifestor, anger, and emotional wave both triggered at the same time. And I actually have a pile of electronics ready to break in that moment. But I was like, I did not, I channeled it. I didn't break anything, but I didn't channel it, and it triggered an emotional wave. So I did send Dan a message, because I was having simultaneous, the anger come up, the emotional come up, and I was about to be on the show, and that's why my eyes are red. And that was pissing me off even more, because I was like, I'm about to be on a show, I'm in an emotional wave, and I gotta write it. I can't suppress it, because the more I suppress it, the more it co-reacts. So what I did to get to the point was, thank you, Dan. I love you so much, because I can just, and I felt fine. I felt better. But you were right, Tressa. If in an emotional wave, what I learned through the whole experience, in an emotional wave, and you're a manifestor, it's going to probably start triggering both. So it was like, and the more I tried to suppress it, the more it was, which was making me, like, I was getting upset, and then I was crying, and then now I'm even more angry, because now I'm crying, and, you know, all this other stuff that I had to take a moment. And as soon as I got it out and allowed the energy to channel, when I got done, I immediately went outside, grounded, saged, balanced, got with nature, asked my guides to come in, clear my etheric field, balance, and recalibrate. So if I did not do that, I still would have been stuck in that emotional wave, which would have been kind of cross-triggering it. So I hope that helps somebody out there.
Yeah. And for all of these young manifestor, especially girls out there, I mean, when we're kids, people look at us and they say, you're crazy, you're psycho, what's the matter with you? And it's like, they don't understand the chemistry. I have a couple manifestor clients I do hypnotherapy with, and hypnotherapy is really great because it helps with the suppressed stuff. But this emotional manifestor that I've been working with, for her to come across another manifestor and recognize, like, I'm not psycho. This is my chemistry, and it's an emotional wave. And the more that I try to be something I'm not and hold that in, the more psycho I am. And so letting yourself be a psycho as you get it out, you're not crazy. It's chemistry. And having a friend like Danny, or having somebody that loves you and doesn't judge you for your chemistry, I mean, that is an invaluable thing for manifestors to have. And I'm so grateful, because this is what we are. And
I'm so glad you said that, because that made me think about something. I'll share something. I'm sorry. I don't mean to take up your time, Natasha. We'll finish, but I think it's important because it's coming through. So part of my background is recovery. And I told Dan in that emotional wave, I said, this is why I was on anti-anxiety medication. because it would suppress immediately in that moment of wave. Okay. And I've been told so many times throughout my life that I was crazy and I needed to be on medication. And that was what started me being on the medication in the first place, because I was told I needed to suppress the emotional waves. Where now I'm finding the clarity in them, because it's telling you something. Your body is telling you something if the emotional wave is coming up. We just have to be in tune to listen and dig deep to find out what that is. But I haven't been on any medication in over almost 6 years. 6 years now, I've been medication free, and I'm more peaceful than I was with on the medication. So that's what came out when you said that.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Natasha, so you're hearing all of this stuff, and you're actually in a little support group at this very moment, now that I think of it.
We love you.
We really need to start developing support groups, but that'll come over time. But I guess my only closing question for you just would be, is there anything you can share that you got out of all of this, like permission to be yourself more? Is there some kind of a use? I forgot who had asked this. The permission, that was you, Trust, the permission slip.
Yeah.
Have you noticed or felt a little more permission to not concern yourself over what you are or what you are not?
Definitely. I would say I just felt really understood. And when I had my reading, I was like, okay, I think I struggled more so in my childhood and growing up. I felt like I was always the bad kid, even though I didn't have it as bad as some, but it was just, I was constantly butting heads with everyone in my life. And I felt like it was like I was always being pushed down. And I think I learned through that. At first I fought it heavily, and then I learned to deal with it and kind of become a people pleaser. But in permission sense, it's definitely given me permission and like the realization of like, okay, this is what happened to you. This is the process of it. And like, now you need to like step forward and just be yourself and get past that, and that it's okay. And, you know, this is how you were designed to be. So it is like permission to be myself. And I wanted to say, based on the last question, it came up to me when basically when my daughter turns a year this coming weekend. And when I was pregnant with her, I think the hardest part of my pregnancy was the emotional aspect of it. And I didn't experience it with my son. And I just was totally in my feelings, and I couldn't control it. I couldn't suppress it like I normally do on a day-to-day. And it was really, really, really intense. Everything, whether it was jealousy, anger, happiness, it was just all over the place. But it was very empowering. And I also felt like she gave me that like release, and the people around me just had to deal with it. And it was okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay, because your body needs that release, and it needs that release on a daily. And you know, and I want to let you know what I told Pierre. I'm just going to step in, Danny and Jen. Me and Danny and Jen are in the works right now of creating a support system for people like you who are stepping into human design, who need weekly support with people around you who know what you're designed to be and want to help you to be big and help you step into your design. So we are in the process of creating group coaching classes and one-on-one coaching classes to help you follow your strategy and authority. And if you're interested, we will send you the information once we put those classes together. Hopefully by the end of the month, we'll have that up and running.
We plan on making a steamroller, Natasha. We're going to grow a great big company here, and we're going to help out the whole world. Our objective is to get to the parents, to get to the kids, to change the course of this whole world we live in. There's no reason we can't do it. There's no rule. So,
and you have a manifesting, we have an emotional manifester right here.
Yeah, I was
right, who knows what you're going through. I mean, what better coach for an emotional manifester, you know, and so just
manifester too, because I'm still learning a lot about it too, and living in my strategy and authorities, and the emotional waves I definitely get.
Yeah.
I got mad today because I was on one. I was like, I don't have time for this.
It definitely helps to vent, though. Now that I think about it, whenever I've had a moment where I could just vent and just get it out, then it's much better.
That was always better. Yeah. That's exactly
and it's we want to build a container. I mean, especially me, that people can come to and just blah, and there's no judgment. That's what I like. That's very hard to find, one that understands your design, your emotional, and that you just really need to get it out. Mm-hmm. So that's why I said something about the whole breaking something. I thought that was, when I saw that, I was like, oh man, I took up the art 3 in high school. I loved, plastering stuff and putting things together. I'm a 5'1", so I understand that one. I was all about breaking things apart, putting them back together so that I knew how it worked. It's perfect therapy for a manifester. Just stockpile, break stuff, break something, and be creative, and bring you peace.
Yep. I can see how that could work, and it's all part of the experiment. After all, we're all entered into an experiment. An experiment is to obviously witness. You just witness it. Seeing it starts to bring it into alignment, because we start to realize what we're not. We're not in control of this wave. We're experiencing this wave. We're not in control of the outcome. We're witnessing how we get smarter and more wise, and creativity comes in differently after the wave concludes. And you guys that are emotional, we need you to coach people on just strategy and authority and holding space so that they can come to terms more, because the emotional people on this planet are going to be the ones explaining it the best anyways in due time. You guys are going to be the ones carrying that torch. We need it. Yeah. So this is awesome. Thank you, Natasha.
Thank you. Please let us know how we can help you in any way. And anybody else who's following, the links are all down below. I will update the description in the Facebook and the YouTube too with the additional links.
Absolutely. And support groups and ongoing coaching will be in place shortly. We're here to coach people through this. Make it something you can actually get into.
Absolutely.
Thank
you, Natasha. Do you have anything else you would like to add before you leave?
No, I mean, I think human design is beautiful. I'm aware that the collective doesn't really know about it. It's still very new. I've always been into astrology and just I guess my investigative martyr, trying to dig deep and figure out things. And I would get into birth charts and stuff, but when I had my read, I was like, oh, this is some other stuff. This is really accurate. And I mean, I feel like I haven't even gone below the surface yet of my chart.
Right.
But as a teacher and an educator, I think it'd be mind blowing to eventually somehow incorporate this in the classroom, because half of everyone's issues start in childhood. It's your foundation. It's the shortest period, but it lasts you forever.
Right.
So I can only imagine a world where that's implemented, and maybe, it would be better, or there'd be less trauma.
Yeah.
We'd have a different world.
Do you know your daughter's human design chart and your son's human design chart? Because it really starts in the home, right? And
definitely.
The kids in their design is the first step to, the classroom. And so, and again, that's another thing that we're all here to support, is helping parents understand your kids and following their strategy and authority. So I'm glad
they use a lot of headaches too. You're like, oh, okay, this is just how my kid is.
Right. All the stuff we thought we were supposed to discipline them or put them in a certain way or help protect them so that they're not that way when they're later. When we realize that's who they are, then we start protecting them. And we're actually off the hook as parents for having to change something that we're not supposed to change.
Yeah.
In them.
But also too, even taking it a step further, you have to understand yourself as well, and how you're interacting with your child.
And your childhood wounds that are parenting your children from your wounded child, and
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Good enough, Ski.
Thank you very much, Natasha.
Thank you.
Looking forward to hear more about your progress and stuff. So
awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. We're moving on. Thanks, Natasha. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Thank you. Bye. Have a great day.
Bye. All right. Next we have Cassidy. She's not popped on her camera just yet. We'll see if she is listening in. Yeah, that was really good. Another emotional manifester.
Jen, have you noticed, because I really notice this for myself, it always comes down to being stopped. The anger always comes in when something tries to stop us from doing what we're doing. Like you wake up, your pictures aren't there. It's stopping you from doing what you're trying to do. You can't do what you want to do if your pictures aren't there, and the anger's always there when something or someone tries to stop me from doing.
Oh yeah, it's when you okay. It kind of sounds childish, but it's really not. It is because it's not going my way. It's not, like and what happened. Like I have no idea how that happened. I don't know why it wasn't there. What happened to it, and I never really do that. And I couldn't remember the name of the folder, so it was a lot of things that were stopping me and getting me in my way. And it just it escalated, and then I had it was a lot of work. It was a lot of, and the energy aspect of it.
Yes.
So,
I don't have the energy for that, and I just want it to work now, and I want everything to stop stopping me so that I can just pull my shields up. That's what I call it. I know I told you this before. I'm just like shields up. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm in a manifestor flow, repel everybody around me. And that anger, though, I've been noticing for myself personally, like, why did I get so mad? And in one way or the other, it's because someone or something is trying to stop me from doing what I'm doing, because I'm designed to.
The stopping. I can see that, Tressa. That makes perfect. It's the stopping. Yeah.
My mind goes to my whole mind. Yes, it is. My whole mind goes to the program was stopping me. So, because I don't know how it deleted.
We're going to delete the we're deleting the program.
I know.
We're performing a reset.
Yeah. Yes.
How's Miss Cassidy doing? Is she here? Does anyone feel like
Yes, Cassidy is on. I was going to pop her on right now. Hi, Cassidy.
Hey, Cassidy.
Hello. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
It's so nice to have you on here, Cassidy. I'm really glad.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so many big things have been changing and shifting for people as we read more and more. I notice we go in so much depth, and it really seems to be setting us apart. We always dig in all the way. No half measures. No half measures.
Absolutely.
Yep. No half measures. And so it's all in. And we went all in. We were on for, in fact, as I recall, the recording didn't capture the last few minutes of our phone call because we went nice and long. And
yes.
Yeah, there was lots of goodies and all of that. So, what was it? Do you remember basically how did it? So, was that your first full-on reading, like where we really dug into the analysis of your design? I forget.
Yes, it was. Other than what I've done in hypnotherapy with Tressa.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So what does it feel like? What's it like? It's my question for everyone, because I notice sometimes people are literally dumbfounded. How can you know this? This is so much, but more and more people are being enlightened enough to where, hey, it's reasonable. You can know this. It sounds great. So I love that feeling. It was a growth in the world, but what's it feel like when all the stuff is getting uncovered? Some of it's pretty personal. Some of it, it's you didn't even know it. Some of it is, hey, quit looking at me. I never know what to expect out of someone. So I like to ask, how does it feel as a totality? What's that feel like?
I think it's pretty incredible. And it gives you like a lot of confirmation. It's basically like looking at a map of yourself and being like, I do struggle with this stuff and that's okay. Or I'm built to do it this way, and that's okay. And you have a literal blueprint of your personality and how you work, how you function. the best way to do things, and it's all laid out into one. I think it's so incredible to have that, and I think it's incredibly accurate, and it is very, very personal in some senses. And I mean, I think it hits the nail on the head in every aspect. At least it did for me.
It's been doing that basically for everyone. I always receive that when I'm talking to people. The more I talk, and how about the things that you're not? When we went to the stuff that's, oh, wait a second, you were on the phone when I had a bat in the house. Was that you?
Yes.
So I didn't get to the open centers. That's right. Remember, I was struggling to get there. I'm running, hitting, and saying, I got to do the open center. Thank you for being in there for me. I bet you felt sorry for me in that moment. So
oh, it was so funny. It was so funny.
So I didn't get to that part, but Dresser or
yeah,
Jen?
We actually touched base a little bit on the open centers, me and Cassidy, the open identity center and the open heart center. And the way that I really like to explain the open centers is this is what you're here to learn. You know, you're here to learn what love and value and direction are. And sometimes you're going to know it and sometimes you're not. And in the moments that you don't really know it, you just remind yourself, hey, I'm not supposed to always know it. I'm here to learn it. I'm here to gain wisdom around it, you know? And the last time I spoke with Cassidy, we kind of got a little bit deeper. We got a little bit deeper into strategy and authority, because I find so much value in making sure that people really know, like, what are you going to do when we get off the phone? And how have you been doing with your strategy and authority, Cassidy?
I've been doing really good at really stepping into that, and especially listening to myself and just going with it. Just the first thing that pops into my head, yes or no, this or that, that is what I go with. And it's like easy. It's weird. It's like things get easier.
Man is coming back. That 5-year-old is coming back.
Yep. Yep.
So have you noticed any very tense moments where, you know, you get a sudden sacral hit right there in your belly and your gut, and you get the sacral splenic hit where you just realize, but you then disregard it? Have you had any of those moments so you can see that friction of not listening to it? Because that's valuable.
Yes, I've seen the friction and the like pattern that I've held previously with that. And like, I've been aware of both of those things and being able to let that pattern go. So when I feel friction, I'm like, there's a reason I'm feeling that, and I'm aware of it. I see you. And then I move on from it. And either I usually do something to settle that feeling down, because it's pretty strong for me. Like, I will immediately know.
Right. So you've been able to navigate through your daily life at times with just like, this isn't good for me. I don't like it. Oh, no, I'm doing this. Have you found yourself doing something and then suddenly stopping?
Yes,
good.
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
Remember that talk we had about quitting? You don't quit anything. You stop. You know, That's the difference.
Yes.
So hopefully, was there any aha moments, something that was just like, oh my God, I didn't know, I knew sorta, or clarity moments or something? Love that.
I mean, there's so much. It is so incredible, like the amount of detail on that, plus, I mean, it's like aha moments all the time. I feel like I'm a pretty aware person, so I can walk through the day and have a million aha moments if I'm paying attention.
Yes.
Just because my brain doesn't stop.
Right.
You're a 3-5. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
And can I share an aha moment that Cassidy shared with me? Because it was a little bit more fresh the last time we talked. And Cassidy, is it okay if I?
Yes, absolutely.
And so Cassidy was aware, because she had just spoken with you, Danny, that there's a split. She's got a pretty wide split.
Right.
And she's aware that her throat's not connected to a motor. And so sometimes there are the moments where she's like, what do I do? I need to do something. I need to be doing something. And she had kind of filled me in and let me know, like, hey, I'm recognizing in the moment that, no, I don't necessarily need to do something that's And is that correct? That's kind of what
Yes.
happening.
Like, I can just be okay for now, and it's fine. And just how I am right now is okay. And it doesn't have to be put into action right now.
Yeah.
It can just settle.
Yeah.
Right, Cassidy. I totally get this. This is all really amazing stuff. Have you shared it with any of your friends or any of that?
Yes, I have. I have shared it with a couple of my friends. One of my very best friends, he was a boss of mine, but ended up being just my best friend after that. He's a yoga instructor, actually. I shared this with him, and we ended up talking on the phone for almost 3 hours. And he was asking me questions about his chart, and I answered all of his questions the best I could. And he was so excited. Like, the amount of excitement was incredible. And he texted me like 5 days in a row after that, like just bouncing ideas off me. And he's also a generator.
Isn't that thrilling? It's so thrilling.
He had something to respond to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it definitely was so perfect. He's like, it blew his mind. He was absolutely mind blown with all of it. How he digests food. Like that stuff. Yeah. He was like mind boggled because he's been having a lot of indigestion issues, and he's been eating all this hot food, and cold food works best with his body.
Right.
And so he was like, that makes so much sense. So it was really cool to see that click for him.
That's the only dietary regimen where there's something really important to think about. Your mother's breast milk is warm. Mm-hmm. It's at or above the baby's body temperature. So right there, technically, that is some conditioning in the very beginning to go ahead and live with upsetness. And it's a weird thing. We would have to experiment with that a lot because it's natural to breastfeed your baby. But there are a few there's that one dietary regimen where it might actually make sense for mom to pump the milk and feed differently. But then again, Tressa, Jennifer, we're gonna have to figure this stuff out over time through people's testimony because the real truth of the matter is there's no substitute for baby against mom's breast, period. I mean, so I don't know what I don't know what we're gonna make of that over time, but the journey begins. I mean, the journey continues. We're gonna find out, man. We're gonna find out on all this stuff, and everyone's gonna wake the flock up. I'm sparing no. The mission is on. Bottom line, and we're opening up, as Tressa kept pointing out, we're opening up coaching. We're going to be coaching people through their type, strategy, and authority. Just that. Just sort of keeping it there instead of actual reading, and that way we can train more coaches to sort of help with all that. You might be interested in being trained as a coach. You might be interested in receiving some of that.
I got to tell you that Cassidy really inspired a lot of this, because before I had, I think it was my second hypnotherapy session with Cassidy. Cassidy was like, I need support. Like, what I need coaching, like I need support. And I was like, well, I am a certified life coach. And I was thinking, and I just adore Cassidy. Truly. I just adore her as a human being. And I'm like, well, I'll do it for you because I like you. Right. And the more that I was thinking about it, I just thought, she's really right. Cassidy's right. Our people need support. And so thank you, Cassidy, for kind of inspiring that, and then a manifestor's like, pooh. And then Jen's had very similar ideas for a long time, which I didn't know. And then we all kind of started to come together. And Danny's obviously been on this path for the past 15 years. And it just all is the perfect.
There's no stopping now, baby.
Nope. Yep. It's pretty incredible, the little superpower team you guys have. Seriously.
I'm pretty lucky.
Well,
it's awesome.
We feel blessed.
It's awesome.
Jen, did you have a question for Miss Cassidy of any kind, or?
No, not at the moment. I think you responded very well to everything. My last question that I would want to ask, and anybody, do you have something else that you would like to add, like that we didn't touch on?
If you get interested in human design, look at the charts of the people around you.
Yeah.
So you can respond better to them. And I mean, it just can create like a big avalanche effect, and it's really, really beautiful. And everybody that I have shared human design with has been like, oh my goodness, this is so fucking cool.
Yeah,
So
it really.
if that can be shared with everybody, that is amazing. And so reading the people's charts around you and sharing that with them, I highly recommend doing that if anything else.
The detail is what stood out to me in the beginning. The detail. How can we know this type of detail? Come on. Astrology gives us aspects, and it shows us certain ways that are so important. They've been so valuable, but then you level up into human design in a different way, and this detail that shows up. It's like, come on. How did we know? How? And then it repeats, and the next person gets the same amount of detail. How? That was.
And everybody is so uniquely different.
Yes. And perfect in their own way. And that's what I loved about human design, is that I think we get put into a pool of where we're all the same and we all have to be the same. We're treated the same way, and we're not. And people lose themselves when they are told that they are just like the other. Then that comparison comes in, and we can eliminate all of that mind crap that people are going through. That a lot of us here right now are trying to heal and recorrect so it doesn't happen again. So it is vital that we get the information out, we get the kids read, and we as adults get ourselves deprogrammed so that we can stop the cycle.
Yeah.
Time to smash the cycle, because those wicked elite losers that sit on top of us, they know about this stuff, and they're trying to smash us before we smash it. I'm sure they know this, man. They're fully aware that, oh, shoot, the humans are waking up. Let's hurry up and advance our agenda. Agenda 2021, I think it was, Agenda 2100 for the century became Agenda 2130. Not all of the 2100s, but it's like, hey, let's curtail it. Come on, back 30, 29, 28. Do I have 27 anybody? You know what I mean? They just
people are waking up. Hurry.
Want to roll it back.
Yes, they're spreading. How dare they?
Waking up. They're gonna know that they don't need us. You know.
There is one question that has not been asked, and this is a Danny question, and I really feel like it needs to be answered by Cassidy. Cassidy, have you witnessed your power in response? That was a Danny question.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. I am very, yes. So for example, I was working the other day, and I was doing something I had never done before, and I was a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit unsure. And, so I just went with my immediate gut response, and everything like worked out perfectly. It was fine. And that feeling of like calm satisfaction was just like so good. So good. And just like being able to settle down into that and being like, I was right. Like I should just listen to myself every now and then and be able to accept that and not let my mind just keep going and ask all these questions.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah. God, that was actually a good one.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Yep. That was a very good question.
Yep.
Danny's got great questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys help. Believe me. I don't get them all, but thanks, man. This is good. Well, Cassidy, geez, thanks so much.
Absolutely.
And let's go smash the machine, baby. Spread the word. And share out our stuff, man. Get us noticed. We need more and more. We need to get out there.
Yes.
We're on a mission. So.
Yes.
And you're a 3/5, so maybe we'll be hiring you at some point in time. We need somebody who's going to attract society and smash it all down at the same time. So
yeah, that 5 man.
Yeah.
Just let me know. Let me know.
Well,
yes, we will keep you posted when we have all of our packages and all of our whatever that we're doing put together. And we would love we would love for you to join and be supported and spread the word. And eventually, once we are ready to train coaches, we would love to have you in our program. So.
Yes.
And I would love to. You guys are incredible. Absolutely incredible. Like, you just blow my mind. So I'm so grateful for all of you in my life.
Oh, thank you.
Cassidy. We're not going anywhere. We'll be here.
We're grateful for you.
Yep.
Yes. And
All
with
right.
that said, thank you, Tressa, for bringing that up. I hope by next Sunday, that's the schedule. By next Sunday, we should have the humandesignadvantage.com website up and running. For now, you can definitely go there and check out, watch the shows, find out where you can listen to the podcast as well. We are broadcasted on YouTube, now Rumble. Rumble gets posted the day after. And bear with me because I'm still learning Rumble. But you can also find our podcast on Amazon Music, Spotify, Google, and Streamcast, I think, is the other one, and Anchor as well. So we are definitely getting the message out there on as many channels as possible. So definitely would love the feedback. And I've also added on the podcast, you can, if you're listening to this, I have to say this, if you are listening to this, please check the description because you can now have a downloadable PDF for you to view what we are talking about through the podcast. I figured that would be a nice addition for all of our listeners. Sometimes we're talking about charts, especially on the celebrity night ones, which is Wednesday night. They don't have a copy of the charts, so now they have access to copies of the charts.
Nice. Thanks,
Very
Jen.
Yes.
Very
And yes, I thought I was like, when I was showing Dan, our listeners, through the actual podcast, I was like, well, if we're going over the charts on Wednesday nights, they're not really seeing what we're seeing. So you can now download that in there. And if you would like to support our mission, definitely check out our store. We have clothing I've uploaded. I actually uploaded some new designs. If you are a light worker, there's the light worker collection in there as well now. And there's going to be some more designs coming soon. I'm trying to think if there's any other updates. I think that's it. So yeah, stay tuned for all the programs and coaching and all that other membership good stuff on how to support you and your design. And if you haven't gotten a session yet, please make sure to get one.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I think we're done.
All right.
Okay.
I feel complete. Thanks, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Cassidy, for joining. It was beautiful to meet you. So I'm looking forward to getting to know you more in the future.
I cannot wait. Thank you so much.
I know that 5. I'm a 5'1", so I'm familiar with that 5 there.
Yes. Yes.
This is great. All right, guys, take it easy.
All right.
Yes.
Bye.
Have a wonderful evening.